Hello my friends, it's Lisa here from Arcaneandstellar, and I want to welcome you to my channel today. So in this timeless pick a card reading, we're going to be looking at people's secret thoughts about you. So kind of how are the people around you perceiving you? And maybe they don't let you know. Obviously, we don't let everyone know what we think of them, right? We might think someone's got beautiful eyebrows, but we don't say anything. We're not always expressive in all of our thoughts. So hopefully we can dig into some more secret thoughts that people have about you, how they're perceiving you. And with that being said, we have 4 different groups to choose from. So you are more than welcome to tune in to your intuition and see which group you're feeling drawn to. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I will post the timestamps down below in the description box, hopefully as well in the comment section. But yeah, so you can choose there, and then once you find the one that you're wanting, like say you pick number 2, you can go down and find pile 2 and you can get right to your message. So I want to say a big thank you to all of you for your support, your kindness, your love, your thoughts, and all your comments, your gifts. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. And let's go ahead and get started. Hello my friends, so if you chose group number 1 here with this beautiful crystal, this is your reading. So what do the people in your life secretly think about you? Let's find out. So we start off the reading with the Hanged Man. We also have the card of appreciation, marriage, sweet love, couple, independency. We have readiness, preparation, prompt, and arrangement. 4 of Wands. The Sun. 6 of Cups. And the 10 of Pentacles. So this is a very, very positive perception that people have of you. Their secret thoughts, well, geez Louise. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to start off with the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man, signifying a person, can show somebody who has healing abilities, right? So we also have, with the healing abilities, the ability to really see different perspectives, okay? So that's one big thing about the Hanged Man, is it can show a maturity where you're able to kind of look at both sides, see things from a different perspective. There also can be this aspect, I was trying to think of the phrasing I wanted to use, this aspect of it being ambiguous, you know? Sometimes this can mean that some people are puzzled by you, but not in a negative way per se, because of the other surrounding cards. I really don't feel like it's a negative thing, kind of like you're unpredictable and unreliable. No. Sometimes you might be seen as hot and cold because we have readiness, but the Hanged Man. So I will say that at times, and this could be with different people as well, different people or different energies coming into your life, where some people feel like you're a little bit more laid back and others might see you as a little bit more of a go-getter. And it might be because of what you're showing them, you know, which side of you. But by the way, the Hanged Man can be associated with people who are healers, or that people that work in like the world of illusion, like film, photography, any sort of illusionary kind of careers, perhaps, or you know, even perhaps spiritual in nature as well. But usually there's a very rich inner life to the, you know what I mean? And a strong imagination. And especially with the Sun, I want to say that I think a lot of people see you as like greatly creative. Even if you don't feel like you are very creative, they may see what you do as very creative, you know? And it could just be that you have good ideas, as an example. Creativity isn't always about, I'm a good artist, or I can paint a picture. It can be about, I think, you know, easily. Like I kind of come up with ideas quickly. I, you know, can find solutions quickly, right? Because that takes a certain amount of creativity to do such things. So again, I think you're seen as a creative kind of thinker. And it's just like not in the box. It's like you can think out of the box, right? And you can feel very sensitive about your dreams, as an example, and the kind of things that you want. And people may see you as that, like quite sensitive in terms of how you pursue the things that you love. And the sun is a very beautiful card too, because the sun can really show that generally people see you as a very joyful person. Okay. Oh, and I was going to say with the Hanged Man, let me just, especially because it's up by the Four of Wands, which can indicate home and family and relationship. You could be seen as someone who takes great sacrifices for your home, your family, your, life, your marriage partner even too here, by the way. Now, I feel here with the sun, this can show that people see you as somebody who's quite confident and joyful. Usually a very warm personality. We see the sunflowers there. I love it. So kind of like a ray of sunshine, or, and you may even find that people might like kind of talk about you behind your back like that, where they'll kind of like, oh, so-and-so is always so positive, always so nice, always so giving and welcoming and warming, that sort of thing. Also, the sun is very linked to creativity. And we had spoken about that kind of even with the Hanged Man, but I see it again. So again, there's that message coming through of creativity, and also the sun can really state that you have a powerful destiny, and people see you as such, as somebody who holds kind of a powerful destiny, or is very and often very in tune, because the sun could imply that, your sun is like quite bright. And what is it? It's even in your astrological chart, you might have a strong sun sign. Maybe your sun is, exalted or in domicile, like Leo and Aries as an example, or have a sun that's at the top, on an angular point, like an ascendant, descendant, IC, MC, that sort of thing. But usually people who have quite a strong sun are generally on a path in life where they get their vision. They see their vision, they get their vision, because they know a lot of people who struggle in life don't have a vision, necessarily. They might flounder around a lot. They're not really sure of what step to take and stuff. I don't feel like you are like that. Maybe you were at one point, but I kind of feel like you're ready, or you're kind of going towards something. So that, at least that's how people see you. Now, you may feel differently. You may feel like, no, I'm not ready. You know what I mean? I remember once I had a friend of mine, and she was like, man, you're so brave. You always travel everywhere, and you just like pick up and go to another country, and like, you're so brave. And I remember thinking like, oh, she's so wrong about me. I'm so insecure, and I'm so shy, and like, I'm not brave at all. I have fear when I do that. You know what I mean? Like, I just remember like, it seemed like she was idolizing me, and I was like, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? Like, but sometimes we're our own worst critics, and so I want to mention to you, don't be your own worst critic, because I have to say that the people in your life really do value you and see you as a great person. Now, this can talk about success as well. So, right, we can see success, and we also see the Ten of Pentacles. So I have to say that people might view you, especially with appreciation, there is this view of like perhaps being popular, well off, stable, secure. That doesn't have to mean that you're like rich. Some people might see you as rich, especially those that maybe have a lower income than you. But I feel like you are generally seen as successful. Okay. And success, like I said, can look a lot different to different people. You know what I mean? Like for some people, success is having a happy marriage, which I see marriage here. And that's the thing. Some of you might actually come off as you have it all, or you have the potential to have it all. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you just can get anything you want in life. And oftentimes, like I said, there's this idea of that you're following your true path, that you are who you are, and that I want to say with the Six of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles as well, that there may be an aspect of people seeing you as somebody who, first of all, some of you might be teachers, by the way, or have like kind of this sort of shining presence because of the Six of Cups. So we have children, and I kind of wonder if some of you might be in teaching. But the other thing I was going to say is that I feel like with the Six of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, some people might have been able to see you achieve childhood dreams or childhood longings, like things that you maybe were, and you're the type of person that people still reminisce about you. Like some people, I feel like people actually remember you. Like when you go to like, your local Walmart or something to grab something, it's like the employees there will actually remember your face. And even though they see a bunch, they'll remember yours because somehow you stand out, you stick out, there's something familiar. And that's another thing with the Six of Cups is that I feel like a lot of the people that you come into contact with, they feel like you're familiar, like that you feel like somebody I used to know, or somehow you just naturally give off those friendly vibes of, like where people just naturally feel comfortable around you. It's like they can just open up, they can just feel like, yeah, And the other thing about the sun, I want to kind of go back over to the sun, is that you're not threatened by other people's success. And that's a big thing with the sun. Usually the sun is not threatened by other people's success. It's very confident in its own self. It's not the type to get too jealous, and it's not the type to, although there's pride, it's the type of thing where they're also proud of your achievements, and it's not like it has to interfere with theirs. And so again, I get a very kind of generous, kind of helpful spirit that people see you in. We also have that marriage card. So I kind of feel like, obviously, this is indicating that some of you might be, there might be secret thoughts regarding your marriage or your partnerships. So it could be that, people are wondering when you'll get married, or and for some of you, I especially for those of you that are single, it's kind of like, I think people have the thoughts of how did this person not get snatched up already? How is this person not married? Doesn't make any sense, does not compute. You know what I mean? Doesn't make sense. And because it's you're such a good catch. And on the other side of things, if you are married, I want to say that they see you as a stable, happy relationship, because we get a lot of indicators of that. So for those of you that are in a relationship, I would say most people secretly think you've got it made, or that you're in a good partnership, or you're in a good relationship. We have that readiness as well, preparation, prompt, and arrangement. And look at this one. It's ready to go, raring and ready to go. He's about ready to take off on his race. And for a lot of you, I feel like the people in your life kind of secretly think of you as somebody who was born ready, is always kind of ready for something new, ready to take action. Not in foolish ways, because I think with the Hanged Man, it's you know when to hold back, when you know when to stop, you know when to take a break. But I think generally you're seen as somebody who's ready, able, and curious to explore life and the adventures out there. And you also, by the way, may be known actually for having good parties. Okay, or good get-togethers, maybe for some of you. And this is something I think that, even if you don't do a whole lot of it right now, I definitely would encourage you to, because I think that you'll find that people really enjoy it. But it's almost like very good party thrower, party planner or something like that, or you throw good events, or you are good with events. And even with events, for instance, let me give you an example. I used to do summer camps for kids. I would run them, and I would even do them throughout the school year, because there would be breaks and stuff, and I would do summer camps during those times, day camps basically. And it was I always come up with a theme, themes, and every day would be planned out with different activities and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. It may be not just parties or whatever, but it's perhaps events, or things, to do. And then again, appreciation can show that stability. And also beauty. I feel like a lot of people in your life really think of you as a beautiful person. I honestly, you guys probably got the greatest pile. I'm not sure, but you guys must have a beautiful energy. I have to say, or you're well loved by the people around you. You're well respected, well loved, well appreciated, I have to say. And I had somebody in a previous reading, in the last one, say I was so negative. And I'm like, I think only one group was negative out of that. So she must have chosen that one. But anyway, but this is I can't even come up with anything negative here. Honestly, this is wonderful. I like you guys. I will, not that I don't like anyone else, but I'm just saying you are definitely a person that people really enjoy being around. Okay. That's what I have to say. And I really do hope it was helpful, and hopefully this was uplifting, especially for those of you that are hard on yourselves, because geez, it's so positive what comes through. Okay. Anyway, I wish you the very, very best. If you want to get a personal reading with me, you can do that by going to my Etsy store, which is linked in the description box. And I also have the members area here. You can join to get some extra content, extra private pick-a cards that are behind the scenes. And also, if you do want to get, a donation, you can do donations and stuff through the description box as well, through the thank you button, through my Amazon wishlist, Venmo. I have all those things if you do want to leave a donation or a tip of any kind. But otherwise, you guys, I really just appreciate comments. They mean a lot to me. They're free, and, they make me smile, and they make any YouTuber smile, so I'd encourage you to leave comments on all of our channels. But if you can just say a kind word or two to each of us, that'd be nice. But anyways, I wish you the very best. Take care of yourselves and lots of love. Bye-bye. Hello, my friends. So if you chose group number 2 here with this little guitar, this is your reading. Kind of wonder if some of you might be musicians, singers, or somehow involved with music, but it doesn't have to be. It's just a sticker. Now, what do we got here in terms of how people in your life secretly view you? What are they thinking of you secretly, behind the scenes? So we have the universe. We have got the angel of balance in the reverse. Collaboration. Disturbance. The Knight of Swords. The Ace of Wands. And the Wheel of the Year, so which is the Wheel of Fortune. So what do we have here? First of all, the universe. Let's start there. The people in your life, you may have recognition, okay? Because the universe is the world, okay? And I want to say that that can mean fame, sort of. I see fame and fortune, to be honest, right here. There's that duality, fame and fortune. Now, if you're not famous or fortunate, I think that a lot of people in your life think you're very capable of that you have the ability. And maybe with that guitar there, that's a signal that you guys were kind of subconsciously, intuitively drawn to this because you have some sort of great talent. It doesn't have to be music, but I think for some of you it might be. Some of you might have had brushes with fame or popularity. You may be seen as somebody who is popular, by the way, because of that universe. It's kind of like you're very seen, and that could just be in your local area. It doesn't have to be worldwide or anything like that, but certainly it seems like you attract attention. This card in particular can talk about success and completion. So it feels as if the people in your life think you have been able to capture a certain amount of success in life, that you are very like maybe you found acclaim or again recognition. Perhaps this also can show somebody who has had, like, you know, finished their education or has a very good job. It's like the type of thing where you might work at a reputable company or in a reputable field, and it's like, ooh, they're like an expert. That's another thing too, is that it might be that you've had a lot of experiences as well, and that you're actually well versed in something. So this does feel to me like somebody who is well knowledgeable in some area, and like I said, very talented in some area in your life. The Wheel of Fortune's an interesting one as well, because obviously this one can talk about ups and downs, right? Fate. And one thing I'll tell you is that there may be certain aspects of your life that have felt very fate ruled, okay? Like it's the type of thing where many things happened to you, but it was all kind of like luck, or it felt like luck or bad luck. Like it wasn't exactly from your own doing. You know what I mean? Sometimes people make bad decisions and they get to bad places, or they make good decisions and they get to good places. I feel like that you must have had circumstances of luck in your life, whether for the good or the bad. And the Wheel of Fortune could also talk about the ups and the downs. Now, I will say that the Wheel of Fortune is very associated with like kind of freedom loving and kind of a free spirit, but very much with optimism. Okay, so I want to say that people in your life probably see you as pretty optimistic, outgoing. This feels more extroverted. That's not to say that you're always extroverted, but I want to say that most people probably see you as like kind of a passionate speaker, and all that sort of thing. The Wheel of the Year, or the Wheel of Fortune, can really indicate somebody who is very generous. Okay, very generous, likes to give a lot, do kind things. You might be a gift giver, or you might be very generous to the people in your life as well. And the Wheel of the Year also can show somebody with a great sense of humor. So funny. So you might be seen as a funny kind of person. You might have quick comebacks, especially. You might be the type of person who's often making people laugh. There may even be a sarcastic or dry sense of humor here too, but I feel like it's very quick-witted. And You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, original, quirky, different. I think these are ways that people would describe you, as like quirky and different, unusual, but in a good way, you know? And oftentimes this can also mean that you have a wide range of friends and acquaintances in your life. Like you kind of are friends with all kinds of different people, all walks of life. You're not picky. You kind of like to mingle with everyone. And you might even be the type of person where it's like people talk to you like, oh yeah, I have a friend from there, or I have a friend from that place, or you almost always have a situation for everything. And that's another thing with the universe too. By the way, I am kind of picking up this idea that a lot of people in your life might see you as somebody who's not a know-it-all, but it's like you've had a lot of experiences. So it's almost like anything they bring up, you can relate. Or something, or somehow you can kind of find a connection to them through it. And I will say that the Wheel of Fortune usually doesn't get into lengthy depressions or stay down for too long. So when you do have a down part of your life, or when something's not going right, it's like you pick yourself up and you go again, and you kind of conquer. And you're like, your energy kind of, it may deplete for, temporary, but it's going to be right back, and you'll be, back as good as new. And usually there's just, this is not the energy of a person who wallows in sorrows and just sits there and whines about life, It's like, you may have very well had some really negative things happen in your life, and especially if you have, I think the people in your life see you as the person who kind of bounced back out, they're just like, you're just like, kind of like, boom, I'm back. I'm not going to stay in that. I don't feel like it. Now, I will say here that the angel of balance in the reverse position, this can talk about a lack of self-acceptance or self-care. And it can often be a warning of lost energy, calling you to relax more, sleep more, even drink more water. So for some of you, it might literally be that people think you need to have a little bit more balance in your life. Okay, like maybe as in you're doing too much, maybe you're too generous with your time, as an example. This is also going to talk about working too much, or, just kind of going too hard on something. So that's one thing, is that you may kind of go too much into something at times and lack a balance, okay? And again, that could be like a workaholic type of thing, or it's like you get too excited and you just pour all your energy into one subject or something like that. And we have the disturbance card, which is interesting: obscure, irritation, supernatural. And one of the things that I feel here with this is that I want to say, if you guys do like spiritual work, like maybe you do tarot, or like, I don't know, any sort of esoteric, there may be people in your life that think that you're like kind of connected towards like the bad side, like, and it may not be a reflection of your character. It's just that they think that stuff is bad. It's like when I was working at this gym, and there was this young girl who came in, and she's a pastor's daughter, and she's very sweet, but I think she's about 15. But she knew what I did, and she was telling me, but that's demons that you're talking to, and all those sorts of things. And she was just trying to help. I didn't get mad. She was really innocent. Like, she just really, I've been there. I was raised in a very Christian household, so I know her train of thought. I know she comes from a good place, and I'm not taking it as judgmental, you know what I mean? I think she's just trying to help, and you know what I mean? And so, like, there may be certain people in your life that might see you as having like some sort of like demonic not that you are bad, because you're not bad. It's just that they may think that you're like haunted by something or driven by something at times, or you're connecting to something, because you can see, like, this card is so creepy, isn't it? I love it. But again, I think it's just more like that kind of thing. Hopefully I gave a good example. You may have a lot of supernatural occurrences too, by the way. So you might be known to have supernatural occurrences, to have a ghost in your house, or to have a lot of weird stories like that as well. Okay. And then we have collaboration. So we see that idea of collaboration, of unity. I think that many people in your life see you as a good team worker, as somebody who is able to contribute to the group, that is able to kind of work well. And maybe you're known for collaborations. Maybe you do a lot of collaborations, or you do a lot of like one-on-one, or things in your life, like maybe where you're kind of like individually meeting up with people, or sort of that type of thing, maybe in small groups as well. But yeah, and in backup, like, you're good at backup. Like, you'll be the one who will pop up when needed. you know? And that's another thing with the angel of balance. It might be that you call in constantly at work. Like you're always like, oh, they call you in and you're the one who's going to be dragging your ass over there, unlike all your other coworkers to cover, you know what I mean? And so some people might think that that balance, you need to take a little bit care of yourself because you might be trying to put too many irons in too many, what is it? Irons and something. Damn, I forgot the saying. Anyway, but that's kind of what I'm getting here. But I hope this reading was helpful and interesting. Hopefully it gave you some perspective on the people in your life and how they view you. And I just wish you the very, very best. If you want to get a personal reading with me, you can do that by going to my Etsy link in the description box. And if you want to donate to the channel in any way, you can always give that super thanks up above. Or you can go through other means such as my Amazon wish list, donate a deck to the channel as an example, or I have a personal wish list there too. There's Venmo and PayPal as well. And I always just appreciate donations and tips. That's always sweet, but it's not required. A comment means a lot to me and it's free. So I always say that. And it means a lot to all of us YouTubers. So I always encourage people to leave comments, not just on my videos, but on any videos. Just leave a smiley face, if anything. It really perks our, mood up. It feels good when we get engagement. Like for us, it can brighten our day. And it also brightens our algorithm. So it's a bonus. It's got like so many good things to it. And anyway, I wish you the very, very best. I hope you'll be back for the next reading. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Hello, my friends. So you chose group number 3. This is going to be your reading. So let's settle down here and get into this. I'm going to just cleanse that area right here. And let's see. So you've chosen this moth sticker, which is beautiful. And let's see what we've got here. Ooh, we've got the shadow side right off the bat here, the devil. So we're going to stick that there. We've got the 8 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, calm, sweet dream. Kind of feel like some of you storm warning. And the Wheel of Fortune. Ooh, okay, so what's interesting here is I see one thing that's really sticking out to me. It's the sweet dream and calm cards. Kind of feel like a lot of you, people might secretly think of you as sleeping a lot. you might be the one who literally kind of like sleeps a lot. Or maybe you're always kind of calm, as well. Like you don't get riled up too easily, is what I want to say, necessarily. Or you calm down pretty quickly. Or there could be fluctuations even, though some of you might have fluctuations of like stormy and then calm. Like, okay, I'm just going to say this, and I know that you guys are going to be like, ugh. Some of you anyways, most of you, like, I think I'll be fine with it, but you might be seen as a bit moody and unpredictable. I'm not going to lie. So because we have very active energy here with the 8 of Wands, and then we have this sort of calm energy. We have the storm warning, the shadow side, the devil, and then we have that Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune can indicate things that move rapidly. So your moods might go, up and down. And so you might be seen by some people as a bit moody and unpredictable, okay? I also do feel, though, that you are seen as somebody who can foretell events. And I will say that some of the events that you may foretell or kind of tune into might be on the more negative side. So I kind of have a feeling that some of you are very in tuned with like a sort of like, prophesizing sort of like things that could happen. Like, it's like you say it and it comes true, but some of it might be kind of negative. Like someone's no good, and so you say it, and then people are kind of like, well, it's true, and I didn't want to hear it. And for some of you, you might bring things to light that people don't want to hear, actually, sometimes, okay? You might actually bring out things that people don't want to see, they don't want to hear. Again, your predictions, you might have like, I really do feel like some of you might have, you at least have had a few, I think, predictions, like psychic predictions about some sort of negative events, whether it was the death of someone or like, that someone was no good or something like that, okay? I do feel like you kind of feel like when some change or shift is in the air, when you feel like things are, like you might be like, I think the economy's going to go bad. and you feel it, and then you start to see the results, and people will actually listen to you in some way. And in some way, this might scare people. Because it might be like for some of you, your word might actually scare people because they know you're right and they don't want to hear it. So on some level, you know, that could be something that does work that way. You may also be very attuned to the subtleties of the world, of behaviors. Like you kind of pick up on the very subtle things that people do. And it's like, so you can kind of pick out those more negative things. Like it is an example, like say someone comes in, a new person into work, and it's like somehow you're observing little things that don't match up. You know what I mean? I had that once at a job where it was sort of like someone came in and it's like I started to see red flag, red flag, red flag, dishonest, dishonest, dishonest. So I caught, you know, the person in 3 dishonest things, and then I started to think, yeah, this person is not very reliable. And in fact, people will be like, oh, you know, and sometimes in my case, I've had people, I don't actually feel like this would be my group, but I have had people where people would say like, oh, you know, how did you know that about the person? And I'm like, it was obvious. Like, it's not even psychic. For some of you, you might not even see it as a psychic thing. You know what I mean? You might be just like, because they did this and this and this. Didn't you notice? Like, didn't you know this? You know? But yeah, I do feel like a strong kind of like bullshit vibe on you guys. And I think people see you that way, you know, that you can pick up the bullshit. I really do think that many people in your life see you as a very dynamic person and very imaginative as well. The Wheel of Fortune is a nice card because usually one doesn't stay in a mood for too long. So when you do get in a bad mood or you do kind of come off as a bit stormy, I'm going to tell you that like it moves quite quickly. Like you don't stay in anything for too long. It reminds me of like I was doing I was thinking about doing it. I was thinking about making a short for my astrology channel on the Scorpio moon versus the Aries moon. And I'm not saying that either of you have it, but the Scorpio moon is an example is Phil Collins, who wrote like In the Air Tonight, right? It's very kind of like, he's been mad for a long time in that song, and he's going to really show it to that person, right? He's held on to that anger and is ready to show him who's who, you know, or show them who's who. And whereas Aries moon is a little bit more, I react in the moment and I don't really hold on to it. So like, for instance, Smile by Lily Allen or Cardi B's like Through Your Phone. Like those are very Aries moon songs, right? No, actually Lily Allen is not an Aries moon. Sorry, she's an Aries Venus, but that's another one because it's a relationship. It's a love song. So it's kind of like, she's like, oh, you know, I felt bad for a while, but then I just smile. Yeah, like she doesn't hang on to it for too long. And so I feel like that there's some sort of like energy where you get over things pretty easily. Like you'll move on pretty quickly. I don't feel like people see you as somebody who's going to dwell in the depths of despair or whatever. It's kind of like, and you may also, I have to say, I think that some of you might have gone through some stormy periods in your life and you kind of came out of it lucky or better than ever as well. And I have to say, some of you might have been through certain difficult things like an abusive marriage or an abusive relationship, abusive family, or some sort of addiction, or there's something I think that you guys have overcome or are overcoming as well, possibly in the now, in the present, or before. Yeah, so it's so interesting because we have such a, and you know, one thing I'm going to tell you guys as well for this particular group is that you might have a group, not a group, you might have some people who see you in a more negative light and some people who see you in a much more positive light. Like you're not seen clearly by everyone. Everyone's going to have their own individual experience with you. And I know that that's generally true for humans. You know, we're going to have different people who have different views of us, different experiences based on their own, you know, story that's going in their head and our experiences with that person and so on and so forth. But I have to say, like out of all the groups that I read for so far, I think that you might have some that see you as a bit more negative. Like not negative like everyone thinks that way. I'm talking about when I was reading the other groups, I didn't really feel like people, like a negative energy creeping in. But in this one, I feel like you must have some haters. Okay, just going to be true. Just going to be honest. I think you might have people who, you might trigger people to feel jealous. You know, you might trigger people to have to meet their shadow in some way. You know what I'm saying? And some people may not always see you clearly as well with the Seven of Cups. And that's another thing. You might have multiple facets to yourself, like different sides of yourself. And, you know, and you meet people in different areas of your life, and you kind of have different ways of being. You know what I mean? Like maybe at work you're one person, at home you're another, with your family you're another. Just going to say. So, and that may not be true for all of you, of course, but I think that might be the cause of some of this. Like perhaps like why certain people might see you a certain way. But overall though, and the thing about it is that I think that the ones who do kind of find you a little bit more irritating or a little bit more triggering, you aren't doing anything to do that, by the way. Like, I don't feel, like maybe you're moody sometimes. But again, like I said, you kind of pick yourself right back up out of it and you're like over it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't last for long. It's a storm. It passes. And then eventually you just rest. But the other thing I was going to say is like the ones that get irritated by you, you're not doing anything to that. Like you're not doing anything to encourage it. So you're not being like a mean person that triggers that. It's almost like it's undeserved, unwarranted. It's probably their own issue. You know what I mean? Rather. So it's not to say that you're a bad person or anything like that, or you have nasty qualities that people don't like, because that's not what I'm getting with this at all, especially with these two cards in particular. But I do think that you must have at least some people who are kind of salty towards you. I really do, especially, yeah. But anyway, I don't think that you let it bother you too much. And again, you don't really do anything to provoke it. It's sort of like out of your control, just like a storm as well. It's sort of like, oh, my candle's boiling. It's bubbling. I love when that happens. Anyway, so you may take a long time to make decisions, but once you do it pretty quickly, is another thing I would say. So you might be the person who kind of, when you're at the menu at the restaurant, you're like, what do I want? What do I want? You know what I mean? you might take time to really think out decisions, think of all the possibilities, all the different ways it can go as well. You might also send text messages or messages in rapid succession. Like you might like kind of, I don't know, break your sentences up or spam a lot of the time. That's okay. It's not a bad thing per se. That might be something there with the Eight of Wands. And then you might be suddenly quiet. That's another thing. So there might be, I feel here that for some of you, you are seen as somebody who's kind of like, and again, this might play into that moodiness, that fortune, going around, where maybe it's like you're so talkative and then suddenly you just like kind of ghost, or you go sleepy, or you go silent, you know what I mean? It's not like you're ghosting on purpose to like blow someone off, but you might just kind of go quiet and then suddenly it perks back up again. And then, and so again, there might be just fluctuations in your energy, what you can give, and sort of that kind of thing. But it might seem a little unreliable in some people's eyes, but not necessarily a bad thing. Just unpredictable, unreliable, you know what I mean? Some people might see it as unreliable. Other people's might be like, oh, they're so unpredictable, but it's not bad, See, two words that kind of sound, they kind of mean the same thing in a way, but they're not exactly giving the same feeling. Do you get what I'm saying? And with the Wheel of Fortune, happy-go-lucky, optimistic is usually something that is, very much in tune with this energy. So the other thing I was going to say is that you may have had a lucky occurrence in life, like, as well. Like, it's like surviving a terrible car accident, or surviving something, or getting past something, or rising yourself out of a certain situation, like I mentioned. And I kind of already had spoken about that earlier with like the possibility of like, an abusive relationship, or a bad family, or, poverty, or other things in your life, that addiction. And you may have been able to really shoot out of that as an example. And I think that oftentimes your experiences can define what you see as well. Like you're able to really spot those nuances that other people can't, because because of experience. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for those of you that chose group number 3. This is a very dynamic and interesting group, I have to say. And I'm really curious as to what you guys think. I'm pretty sure I'll have some negative comments. I'll probably get some positive ones too on this one. But let me know if you chose number 3 and if you think that fits your energy. If you didn't, you might have chosen the wrong group. Pick-a cards are all about your intuition and whether you're choosing and tuning into the correct group. So, you know what I mean? Like if you feel like you were off on that choice, you can go back and choose a different one and see if it resonates more. But I wish you the very, very best. Thank you so much for being here. I'd love it if you subscribed if you haven't. If you want a personal reading with me, you can do that through my Etsy store, and it's linked up in the description box. There's also a link to all the decks that I'm using, and also there are ways to donate there. My Amazon wish list or my Venmo, my PayPal. There's also the super thanks button up above if you feel like donating back to the channel. But most of all, like I always say, comments mean a lot. They're free and helpful, so I always appreciate when I get a comment, and it shows a lot of support. Give a thumbs up if you have time to. But I will see you next time. Take care, you guys, and lots of love. Hello, my friends. So if you've chosen group number 4 here, this is the last group of the reading. But last but not least, right? So we have this cute little potion sticker that you've chosen, and let's get started. So, okay, so what do the people around you in your life secretly think about you? We've got the Magician, the Queen of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, Imagination, Strategy, Victory, and the Empress. Wow, you guys got the Empress. Jeez. Okay, well, first of all, I think with the Empress, we can fairly say that, whoa, I can't hold anything. That's what we can fairly say, right? We can fairly say that you're seen as a beauty, okay? No matter your gender, no matter however you present in this life, you're seen as somebody who is beautiful and conventionally probably very good looking, even if you don't feel that way. I think that you're seen as somebody who has very beautiful features and very beautiful qualities. The Empress can be known to be a mother as well, so some of you might be in a mother role in your life, but that doesn't have to be. Oftentimes, the Empress can really talk about strong feminine qualities, so very nurturing qualities and making people feel warm, loved, taken care of in general. And that's one thing I will say, that you really exude this sort of loving energy towards the people around you. The Empress can really imply that somebody will move heaven and earth to help those in need. And you may actually be very giving of your resources to the underprivileged or to people who need it as well. For some of you with the Five of Pentacles up there at the top corner, left corner up there, this could indicate that you've gone through some tough times in your life, perhaps poverty, illness, lack of energy, rejection, these sorts of things. But I want to say, for a lot of you, I would say that you've risen above such things. The Empress is a queen, and so she's often kind of seen in the ways of the queen, and we have the Queen of Swords as well, so that's kind of cute that we have two different queens coming through, right? Very powerful, very wise, and very aware of her own boundaries. So, you could be seen as somebody who is kind of in that mode, right? Oftentimes, this can give someone a voluptuous kind of body or as well. So some of you might be seen as quite voluptuous. You might be very noticeable by your physical presence. But not just that, your mind is strong too. And we'll talk about the Magician in a moment, okay? But I am talking about those kind of physical qualities of beauty. And there can be a lot of affection, very responsive as a person, very socially graceful as well. Being seen as somebody who knows the social rules, the social etiquette, knows how to act with respect, with dignity. You're not the type of person to walk into a room and start burping or acting out of your manners, okay? You're seen as somebody that you can take anywhere, okay? You're seen as somebody that somebody would be proud to have you with them, you know what I mean? It's not like you're kind of engaging in vulgar behaviors. Not that vulgar behaviors are bad. I'm just saying that this is not a card of being vulgar. it's, you know, kind of socially thoughtful and, you know, unoffensive. Okay, you're unoffensive, you're socially thoughtful, you're graceful, and you carry yourself with dignity. Okay, that's how the people around you see you. Okay, now the Magician here, now, like I said, you're not just a pretty face here. The Magician is one that's very much capable of high amounts of intellect, okay? And I see strategy here too. So planning, prediction, mind reading. Well, first of all, you might be a good mind reader. And in fact, actually, you might have motherly instincts with the Empress and strategy too, by the way. Sorry, I thought I'd say that. But some people might find you could be quite magical. Like, how did you know that? How did you do that? Like, you might have qualities that are very magical, you know, in nature. And it's not just like the Magician, because that's not normally how I'd read that. But, well, the Magician's surely capable of anything. But yeah, oftentimes the Magician can imply, especially with the Empress together, that you can get along with anybody. And I kind of already mentioned that, but that's kind of a double whammy there in terms of social graces and social charisma. It's an example that you're able to really talk to anyone. And often very interested in various things, lots of different interests, very imaginative, right? Because we have the imagination down there. But I feel like you actually are capable of bringing your imagination to reality. Like, you get plans and you have plans and ideas. Maybe you haven't fulfilled all of them, but I want to say that when you have a thought, you already start to kind of figure out the plan. Like some people might say something like, oh, it's cool, like it would be cool to have so-and-so thing, you know, or to do so-and-so business, or to do so-and-so job. And it's like, you're the type that would be like, well, I'll find a plan for that. Or like, you start to already do a plan, you know? Sorry, my throat, I think I'm starting to get my voice tired. Oftentimes, this can really indicate that you're the type of person that people could really just talk to for a long time. Like, you have a breadth of knowledge, you have a lot of, like I said, a lot of wisdom. And so it's like you always have something to talk about. You have a lot of experiences to bring to the table as well. And this really can talk about being in tune as well with your higher self. I feel like a lot of you are very much in tune with that part of yourself. And we can see with this that people might think that you do have elevated powers and capabilities in life, that you are, you know, quite capable. And oftentimes as well, this can show somebody who is very much aware of their power and their lack of power too. So there's a humbleness, I feel. It's like, and I think that's too why the Five of Pentacles comes through, because I don't feel like people see you as somebody who doesn't have that humble side to them. I kind of feel here, though, humble beginnings perhaps in life. So you might be seen as somebody who's kind of come from humble beginnings because of that Five of Pentacles. But the Five of Pentacles could indicate that you struggle with certain things in your life. You may have certain health problems possibly for some of you. I think that's not going to be for all of you, but a few of you. But you've managed to overcome them, to find your place without letting those define you. That you've found ways to adapt and, you know, get to where you want to be. Some of you might constantly be planning something or thinking about something. Like you're always kind of planning some sort of scheme. Like you're planning a business, or you're planning a book, or you got this on your mind, or you got that plan on your mind. You're very much that person. And people believe in you. Like you have a lot of people who really believe in you, who think you're very much a capable person. And you may have had certain awards with victory. You may be seen as somebody who often is recognized or deserves recognition if you haven't already. I think that a lot of people think that you'll go great places, you'll do great things, that sort of thing. I do get the vibe of a very successful type, you know, like that you're seen in your life by the people around you as someone who's successful, capable. The Magician, by the way, could imply somebody who's a good teacher or is good with words in general. So some of you might be writers, especially with the Queen of Swords. Let's not ignore that card. Logical. I think that logical could describe you in a lot of ways. a good speaker, but not one who's too rough. Especially with the Empress, like I said, I think that you guys really are capable of like strong social graces. You probably take a good picture as well. But yeah, trying to think if there's anything else here. Yeah, very intuitive though, and very actually knowledgeable about some things, like maybe the more spiritual side of life as well. Some of you may work with the needy, the poor, the sick, you know, so it could be like the people who need help in some way. So some of you might work in the medical industry or things like that. Some of you might be good at life coaching as well. I'm not saying that you guys do these things. These might be talents that you could have. But yeah, I want to say that the people in your life, they do see you as a very capable person. And that's what I'm really picking up. Very beautiful, very capable, very intelligent, very gifted. Okay? So I hope this helped and was informative and helpful for you. I wish you guys the very, very best. And if you do want to get a personal reading with me, you can do that through my Etsy store, which is linked in the description box. So personal readings, whether they're astrology or tarot, can be found there. And also, you can do donations to my channel through the thanks button above. Let me know you liked the video. It's not required though. There are also other ways to donate back to the channel through my Amazon wish list, or you can send me PayPal or Venmo. Those are always ways to tip as well. But overall, I really do appreciate comments. They're free. They're nice. I like reading them. They make me smile most of the time. Every once in a while, you guys will leave a shitty one and I'll be, oh. Anyway, but that's all right. I wish you guys the very, very best, okay? Take care of yourselves and lots of blessings. Bye-bye.